Good morning. How do you file your receipts, especially for depreciable items? So I purchased few items for my business and I have the receipt here and I'm going to file it right away. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to do it. So you can go digital if you want as well, but I'm going just to do the paper version. So I will print it because the receipt will fade over time, and I will print it and I will file it. So what I like to do is have folders, expendable folders, and I will have regular folder in them. So what I have changed it over the years, but what I like to do now is have those expenses named, like this one could be office supplies or depreciable, and I'll just put current year for example. So those receipts will go in the folder, and when I'm ready to process them on my spreadsheets, I know the folder I should go to. And at the end of the year, I will have another folder, if I don't have it yet, where I'll put depreciable items, prior years, and all the receipts from this year I can just staple together and put 2019 depreciable item on a blank paper, add it to it and staple together and put it in that folder. So, and the prior years, if I don't have it yet created, then the next year I'll do the same thing. So it will just be like having two folders to work with if you don't have a lot of receipts in that category. The second option would be to have a depreciable item for 2019, depreciable item for 2020, and so on. If you purchase those items that you depreciate, you purchase a lot every year, you can have different folders for them. But if you don't have a lot of purchases in that category, you can just have two folders, one for prior years and one for current year. And at the end of the current year, you take all those receipts, use a blank paper, put 2019 depreciable item on it, add it to it, staple it together, and add it to the prior year's one. That way, when you pull that folder, because you are looking for a receipt to reference, so you pull that folder, you'll have all those staples, bunches with the year they belong to, and it'll be easy to process. You have to staple them together so that you know that this bundle is for this year. You just don't pull them there from one year to the other. You have to make those bundles for each year if you are going to file them all in one folder. And that way you keep one, that'll just be current year, no year, specific year will be on it. So that's that process I'm going to use. In prior year, when I start my business, I used to write the year on the folder, and then over time I prefer to just use current and prior years for those two folders. So let's get started. And in fact, what I purchased could be expense as well, but because my business is not generating a lot, for those things you can expense or use section 179, or just take all the deduction in the current year. I like to depreciate them because that's what they are. For things, for those expenses, for those items that are not going to disappear in the production, or those things that you are not going to use up completely in the current year. When it comes to office expenses, those are depreciable items. But there is those special deductions which allows you to deduct them in full. If you are making a lot of profits, you want to take advantage of those special depreciation, that's fine. But at the early stage of my business, I prefer to depreciate those items so that I don't take all those deductions in 1 year that I didn't have much profit. So, but if I space it out, it will lower, I will take those deductions year after year the way they were originally, suggested to do. So they are, you can fully expense them, but they are depreciable office supplies or office furniture, so whatever we will call it. But I'm going to depreciate them, and I'm going to calculate how much depreciation I should take every single year. So we'll work on that later, but this time I just want to make copies, file it, and when I'm ready to calculate depreciation on it, I know where to find the receipt. And if you want to go digital, you can scan the receipt and file it online on your computer as well. So you'll have folders, depreciation or depreciable items, and you just store that receipt there. Will be one way to do it as well. So when I make my copies, because sometimes it won't tell you exactly what you purchase, one thing I will do here so that I can remember will be to add more detail to it, and then I will staple it together. In fact, I will go ahead and staple it. So when you have your own business, I think it's worth purchasing some office supplies to have some staples on hand. So I will staple it together, and I'm just going to write some basic information on this so that I can remember, because clearly I don't know what the receipt is telling me here. So I'm going to put black Decker, and I believe is iron, but I think they call it easy seam, so I'm just going to call it like that, easy seam. And I'll put the date as well. So this one is foam poster board. Is to take pictures for the website. So foam board. Foam board. And I'll put the dimension as well, just in case I have multiple in the future. I know which one this one is. White. And to be a little bit more specific, I'm going to put the price, because right now I can tell what is what. In fact, I can look at the UPC here. So this one is $1.77. So that means this one is $9.97. So that's that, and I had to add a tax to it later. But that's just basic information for me to record here. Now that I know that I have those things ready, that's just one that I'm repurposing, so it has some writing on it. And I have this that is not quite the size of that, but I'm not going to bother to go look for one that will be the right size. So I'm just going to create my own here. And I'm just going to write on it. So let's see what we are going to write here. In the past, I have put office furnitures. So this, I'm just going to put depreciable. So, and I'll put current. Depreciable current year. And I have the receipt and I have my copy, and I'll just put it in it. So now let's see how I'm going to file it. So I have here that I need to sort out, but until I'm even though I have not sorted them out, I will still want to file my receipt properly. So I don't want to use the excuse that I need to sort this drawer out and now filing my receipts where they should go. So I have this expendable folder which is not cooperating to come out, and I have this one that is current year receipts. I'd like to see what the receipt is if that's a depreciable item. Yeah, it is a depreciable item, so I even have it. And you see, that's why it's very important to really write on the paper, the printout, what that is, because sometimes the description of the item can be so difficult for you to know what it is. And one way to find it is to go type, like if you have an issue like that, is to go type the UPC online to see if you'll be able to locate it. And so those two, I need to make copies of them. I'm not sure I made copies for them yet, but I put them in the right file folder. So that means having them in the folder, it makes it easy for me to, to find them later. So this one is P.O. Box rental. And P.O. Box, in fact, there will be, let me see what I put on it, there will be mostly expense. They are not depreciable items. There will be operating expenses. So let's, and here I have receipt office furnitures. So that's what I was looking for, and receipt office furniture 2015, I will just change that to prior years. So in fact, what I could do is, you know what, I think I will leave it like that because that was the original. It has some receipt here that I like to keep that way. And going further, let's see here, I can just use the same folder color. Let me plug my camera here. So I'm going to just go ahead and create a receipt for, no, a folder for prior years. So that would be depreciable. Prior years. So I have that. I will add that first year to it, and I have my current year here. So my current year has the receipt that we just print out. And speaking of expendable folder, when I saw through this, I might probably add more expendable folder, but this time I feel like I'm using one that has different type of expenses in it, but that's pretty much how it works. So I'm going to put it here, and there is, yeah, and that's how you saw your receipt as you make purchases. It makes it easy later to find those receipts comes tax season. That way you will have all the expenses sorted out for your accountant to file your taxes for you and claim the right deductions. Even if you are filing your own taxes, it makes it easy to find those expenses and deduct what you are supposed to deduct in the right way. But if you don't file them on, as you go, it's hard to find the receipt. It's hard to remember how you should classify them as to expense them in full or depreciate them. But doing those things at tax season, it just make the tax time stressful. But having your receipt in place, organized, just make you feel a little bit better before you even get to start filing your tax. Thank you for watching. I'm Afiavi Ojune Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting LLC YouTube channel and owners of Nina Soap. And our website is ninasoap.com. And I'm in the process of creating our e-commerce stores, and when it's ready, I will have the website in the description as well. And thank you for all that watch our videos. Thank you for commenting, and thank you for all that subscribe as well.